Hello everyone. My name is Dr. Sangeeta Singh. I am Assistant Professor at IIMT College of Engineering in Department of ASH. Today in this lecture, I am going to discuss a very important topic, ecological pyramids in ecosystem. Under this topic, I will be discussing about the types of ecological pyramids, significance of ecological pyramids and the limitations of ecological pyramids. So let's begin. Before starting with the ecological pyramid, I just want to introduce with the term ecosystem because it is very necessary to know what is ecosystem. The ecosystem is a structural and functional unit of ecology where living organisms interact with each other and the surrounding environment. So in other words, we can say that ecosystem is a chain of interaction between organisms and their environment. This term ecosystem was coined by an English botanist, A.G. Tensley, in 1935. So talking about the types of ecosystem, there are two types of ecosystem. One is the terrestrial ecosystem. Terrestrial ecosystems are basically land-based ecosystems. Another type of ecosystems are your aquatic ecosystems. These aquatic ecosystems are present in the body of water. This is the classification of ecosystem. Here you can see that ecosystem is basically divided into two. One is a natural ecosystem, another is the artificial ecosystem. So natural ecosystems are the land-based ecosystems or the terrestrial ecosystems, and another type of ecosystem is your aquatic ecosystem. Further, land-based ecosystems can be divided into forest ecosystems, grassland ecosystems, desert ecosystems. Aquatic ecosystems can also be divided into pond ecosystem, ocean ecosystem, and estuaries ecosystem. Talking about artificial ecosystem includes cropland ecosystem. So this is the classification of ecosystem. Now moving to the structure of ecosystem. The structure of ecosystem can be split into two main components, namely the biotic component and the abiotic components. Biotic components refer to the all life present in the ecosystem. And these can be categorized as autotrophs, heterotrophs, saprotrophs. Abiotic components are the non-living components of ecosystem, and these includes water, sunlight, soil, temperature, etc. So basically the ecosystems are responsible for cycling of nutrients between the abiotic and biotic components, and mainly they maintain the balance among the various trophic levels in food chain and ecological pyramids in the ecosystem. So now when you are familiar with ecosystem, we'll talk about ecological pyramids in ecosystem. This is the classification of ecosystem. Abiotic and biotic components. Here you can see biotic components includes producers or autotrophs, consumers or heterotrophs, decomposers or saprotrophs. Further, the consumers or the heterotrophs can be divided into primary consumers, secondary consumers, tertiary consumers, and quaternary consumers. Primary consumers are the herbivores. Secondary consumers are the primary carnivores. Tertiary consumers are the large carnivores, and quaternary consumers are the omnivores. Omnivores are the one which can feed both on plant and animals. Okay. And the abiotic components, These again include like light, temperature, and edaphic factors like soil, minerals. So this is all about the structure of ecosystem. And now we will move to the ecological pyramids. Okay. So firstly, I will discuss what are ecological pyramids. Ecological pyramid is a graphical representation of the relationship between organisms at various trophic level in a food chain. So the basis of ecological pyramid is biomass, energy, and number. Just as the name suggests, ecological pyramids are in the shape of a pyramid. Okay, you can see here, it is in the shape of a pyramid. This also, you can see here, it is in the shape of a pyramid. Okay, so ecological pyramids are also known as energy pyramids and trophic pyramids. The concept of ecological pyramid was given by a British ecologist, Charles Elder. That is why the ecological pyramids are also known as Eltonian pyramid. Now, when you are clear with the definition of ecological pyramid, we'll talk about the types of ecological pyramids. There are three types of ecological pyramids. One is a pyramid of number, another is a pyramid of biomass, and another is a pyramid of energy. This pyramid of number. We'll discuss one by one. First is pyramid of number. This you can see here. This is a pyramid example of a pyramid of number. So these are the trophic levels. At first trophic level, you can see producers. Producers include plants. Then we can see primary consumers. Primary consumers include herbivores. That is, herbivores are the animals which feed on plants. Then we have secondary consumers. Secondary consumers are just above the primary consumers. Secondary consumers are the one which feed on primary consumers. Then we have, in the last, we have the tertiary consumers. And the tertiary consumers are the animals that feed on secondary consumers. So, pyramid of number includes the number of organisms at each trophic level. Okay. The pyramid of number will take into account the number of organisms present at each trophic level. Here we won't take size, we'll take the number of organisms. This pyramid of number can again be divided into three. These can be of three types. One is upright pyramid of number, another is inverted pyramid of number, and the third is partly upright pyramid of numbers. Here we will discuss one by one. Firstly, we'll talk about the upright pyramid of number. Here you can see one example of upright pyramid of number. See, as we go up to the levels of the pyramid, the number of organisms keep on decreasing. The producers form the largest number and hence the bottom of the pyramid is broad. You can see this phytoplankton. The bottom of the pyramid is broader as compared to the primary consumers, and then we have the secondary consumers, and then we have the tertiary consumers. The bottom is broad, while the apex is narrower. So this forms the upright pyramid of number. Now, the second type of pyramid we find in pyramid of number is inverted pyramid of number. Here is one example of inverted pyramid of number. Again, here you can see the bottom is not broad. The bottom is narrower. The top is broad. So that is why this is an inverted pyramid of number. Okay. The number of individual increases from lower level to the higher trophic level. And this type of pyramid we can find in tree ecosystem. Okay. So this example already shows that at the producer level, we have oak tree, and then we have the birds, and then we have the lice and bugs, and at the top of the pyramid, we have the bacteria, fungi. So here the top, you can see, is broad as compared to the base. Base is narrower, and that is why it is inverted pyramid of number. So it clearly shows that in inverted pyramid of number, we are having less producers as compared to the herbivores and the carnivores. Now we'll talk about the third type of pyramid of number, that is partly upright pyramid of number. So this type of pyramid of number we can see in the forest ecosystem, where the number of producers are lesser in number and they support greater number of herbivores. And in turn, they will support a fewer number of carnivores. So partly upright pyramid of number you can see in forest ecosystem. So this is one of the example of partly upright pyramid of number. Now we move to another type of pyramid, that is pyramid of biomass. Here in the pyramid of biomass, we take into account the dry weight of the animals present at each trophic level. It is generally ascertained by gathering all organisms occupying each trophic level separately and then measuring their dry weight. Each trophic level has a certain mass of living material at a particular time, and this is called as a standing crop, which is measured as a mass of living organism or the number of unit area. So the pyramid of biomass is of two types: upright pyramid of biomass and inverted pyramid of biomass. Here you can see the example of upright pyramid of biomass. So at each trophic level, you can see the biomass is present in grams. Okay. And you can see the base is broader as compared to the apex. So as we go up, the biomass get on decreasing. Okay. Biomass is decreasing. You can see the biomass is decreasing from the producer level to the primary consumer level, and then to the secondary, and then to the tertiary consumer level. The biomass keeps on decreasing. So this is pyramid of upright pyramid of biomass. Now we'll talk about the inverted pyramid in aquatic system. Inverted pyramid, you can see here the base is narrower as compared to the top of the pyramid. Top of the pyramid is broad. Now you can compare. See, this upright pyramid of biomass and this is inverted pyramid of biomass. In upright pyramid of biomass, the base was broader and the top of the pyramid was narrower. That is why it was upright. Here the biomass keeps on decreasing. In this case, in aquatic ecosystem, you can see at the base we have the producers, which let's say they are 4 grams per meter square. Then when we move to another trophic level where the herbivores are present, the biomass becomes 8 gram per meter square. And at the top, where the carnivores are present, the biomass becomes 12 gram per meter square. So there is an increase in biomass from the lower level to the upper level. And that is why the pyramid is inverted in ecosystem. So I hope this is clear to you that pyramid of biomass is of two types. One is upright pyramid of biomass and another is the inverted pyramid of biomass. In upright pyramid of biomass, the biomass was decreasing as we were going up. And in inverted pyramid of biomass, the biomass was increasing as we were going up. That is why it is inverted. So now we'll move to the third pyramid, that is pyramid of energy. Pyramid of energy is the only ecological pyramid which has only upright pyramids. Here you won't find inverted pyramids. In the pyramid of energy, you will always find the upright pyramid. Here you can see one example, the upright pyramid. Here you will never find inverted pyramid. Now I will tell you why. See, this pyramid of energy is a graphical structure. This is representing the flow of energy through each trophic level over a fixed part of a natural environment. As energy pyramid represents the amount of energy at each trophic level and loss of energy at each trophic level, this is always upright. See, in this example, you can see at the base, we have the producers, which, for instance, we have taken the energy 10,000 kilocalorie. As we move up to the primary consumer, the energy becomes 1,000 kilocalorie. Again, when we move to another trophic level of secondary consumer, the energy becomes 100 kilocalorie. Again, when we move to the tertiary consumer level, the energy becomes 10 kilocalorie. So you can see clearly that from base towards apex of the pyramid, the energy is decreasing. There is a rule of 10% decrease in energy. Okay. The energy decreases because the energy is lost as a heat. At every trophic level, 90% of energy is lost. Only the 10% of energy is transferred. So when we are saying only 10% of energy is transferred at each level, this means our 90% of energy is being lost. This energy is being lost as heat. This happens as the organism respires, the energy is lost. So this clearly shows that here the base of the pyramid will always be broad because the energy at the base is maximum, while as we keep on moving upwards, the energy keeps on decreasing. So at the top of the pyramid, at the apex of the pyramid, the energy will be minimum. This you can clearly see. So we can say that in pyramid of energy, only 10% of energy is being transferred from one trophic level to another. Rest 90% of energy get lost as heat. So this example makes you very clear that only 10% of energy is being transferred. You can easily see in this example that at the base where we are taking the producer, I have taken an example of in 100 kilocalories, 10,000 kilocalories, and then again the loss of 90%, and only the 10% energy is transferred. You can see 1,000 kilocalorie. Then again, only 10% energy is transferred, that is 100 kilocalorie, and again only 10% energy is transferred, that is 10 kilocalorie. So as we move upwards, the energy goes on decreasing, and that is why this is a upright pyramid of energy. So we can say that energy pyramids these are also known as trophic pyramids, and they usually help in quantifying the energy transfer from one organism to another along the food chain. So talking about the energy flow in ecological pyramid, now it is clear to you that the flow of energy happens through living things within an ecosystem. All living organisms can be categorized into producers and consumers, and these producers and consumers can further be organized into food chain. Each of the level within the food chain is trophic level. In order to more efficiently show the quantifier of organisms at each trophic level, these food chains are then organized into trophic pyramids. And the flow of energy is unidirectional, which is shown with the help of arrows in food chain. Okay. Now, once we are clear with the three ecological pyramids, three types of ecological pyramids, I will like to talk about the significance of ecological pyramids. So, significance of ecological pyramid is that they show the feeding of different organisms in different ecosystems. Next, ecological pyramid can show the efficiency of energy transfer. And the third significance is that the condition of an ecosystem can be monitored, and any further damage to the ecosystem can be prevented. Now, the limitations of ecological pyramids. There are certain limitations also. As more than one species may occupy multiple trophic level, as in case of a food web, this system does not take into account food webs. The ecological pyramids only work on simple food chains. They are applicable only on the simple food chains. They do not take into account the food webs. But naturally, usually the food chains don't exist. They exist in nature. Mostly the food webs exist. So this is a limitation for ecological pyramid. It is only applicable on food chains. It will not take into account the food webs. Secondly, the ecological pyramids do not deliver any concept in relation to the variation in season and climate. They do not consider the possibility of existence of same species at different levels. So that is all about the ecological pyramid in today's lecture. I hope you are clear with the ecological pyramids types, significance, and limitations. Thank you for watching, and I hope you were able to understand ecological pyramids. Thank you.